Yo, it's me, CSCOTT, baby. Welcome back to the Angel Retrospective, where we are talking about Season 3. Just finished it, and, well, you know how I said Season 2 for me was the worst season? Well, Season 3 for me is the most decisive. A lot of decisions in here that I don't agree with, but I still feel it's better than Season 2. Maybe not a lot, maybe a small little handful, but before I get to the overall review, I do have a story, and it's an Eric story. So, it has to do with Angel Season 3, that's why I waited till this. So, one day, Eric came over, right? And, his girlfriend at the time was watching the season, going through the seasons of Angel. She had borrowed the first two, and then she needed to borrow the third one. Well, so he came over to borrow. Okay, this whole thing, I was sick, right? And I had a pounding headache. And he took my bottle of Tylenol, a discount Tylenol, whatever, and I said I need it back, and after some back and forth, he said, I'll give it back to you if you let me borrow your Season 3 of Angel for my girlfriend to watch it. I'm like, okay, fine, I don't care. Just wanted to get rid of my headache. And he brought it over. I took the Tylenol right away. He borrowed Season 3 and he left. I'm laying there, trying to relax. My phone rings. Dude, I just lost your Season 3 of Angel. I'm like, you better not be fucking with me. He's like, I'm not, dude. I can't. I think I left it at Hy-Vee, but I can't find it. I came back in, it's gone. He came back up, and we talked. So, and I should mention that this is at the time that they were actually selling DVDs at Hy-Vee. So he and I went to Hy-Vee, I don't know, a week or two later, and we're looking around. Not for this, by the way. I just went there. He went there for something, a check or something. I don't remember what it was. And I went there. I was there with him, and I was looking at the DVDs. And going through the DVDs they had there, I found this. I'm like, dude! And he's like, what? He's like, no way. I'm like, this is mine. He's like, I'm taking it. This is mine. This is mine. And he's like, you gotta tell someone. He was afraid they're gonna think I'm stealing it or something. So I go up to the lady at the desk and I say, this is mine. And she's kind of giving me a look. I'm like, he borrowed this and accidentally left it here. And this is mine. He borrowed this and he actually left it here. And I'm just telling you so you don't think I'm stealing it. I'm just taking it back. And she had to scan it. She's like, I need to scan that. I'm like, okay, sure. You could just look on your camera and see him leave it sitting behind. But I guess the date wouldn't work. But I'm just like, okay, fine. So she scanned it and she said, okay. I'm like, but, okay, it's not in any plastics wrapped up or anything. It's open. It's not wrapped up or anything. But she still felt like she had to scan it, which now probably wouldn't work. It's all ripped off. But, yeah, I got it back. I was happy. The funny thing was, he had decided to reorder me Season 3 of Angel from Family Video. And we found that just before the other one arrived. He's like, okay, so you get the other one, you just give it back to me and I'll send it back. I'm like, okay. So, yeah. And I don't know why he had it sent to me. Because I just thought about this now, years later. His girlfriend was probably going to borrow it, right? Because they were still together at this time, I think. So, why didn't he just have it sent to his apartment? And then he could borrow it and then give it to me. I don't know. Maybe I told him it had to go to me. I don't remember. It's been so while. But yeah, that's just my little story. So let's talk about the season, right? So the season starts. It's another one of those. it's a weird thing when you have an ending to a season that ends with them getting out of a hell dimension, Pylea, Lauren's home, and then ending up, it ends with them finding out about Buffy's death. Spoiler alert for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She dies at the end of season 5. And eventually there is a little reunion thing. I don't know which episode it is. One of them. They get but yeah, yeah, and this is sort of the last season that he really pines for Buffy, because they decided to just have him move on after she died and came back to life. It was like, okay, he can move on now. I mean, he died and came back to life, and then she moved on. Well, he sort of left. That wasn't really her decision, but anyway, yeah. And the first episode is really just a meh episode. Other than that, beginning of it where they talk about he's going Buffy and everything, and we get a hint of Darla at a bar where you can clearly see she's pregnant when she's sitting, but there's supposed to be a surprise when she turns around on the camera and it reveals that she's pregnant. But you can clearly see from the view of the counter that she's pregnant. She's got something going on right here. So, but yeah, and that's kind of the focus of the first part of the season, where she shows up at the hotel and she tells them, you did this to me, we gotta figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden you get Wolfram and Hart, and you get like ninjas. Maybe there's Wolfram and Hart ninjas. We get vampires and stuff. Vampires saying they want to protect the baby, but then they're gonna kill all the humans and then dissect them, open up the mother and the child and entrails and stuff. I don't remember what it was. It was gross. Early on in the season, we get introduced to you could say big bad for the season. He does most of the bad stuff in this, and that's Daniel Holtz. He was a hunter. He was a normal man back in the day, or maybe he was a hunter. I don't know, vampire hunter, whatever. Sort of like a Van Helsing to Angel's Dracula, where, by the way, Buffy fights Dracula. Just saying. Anyway, what Angelus and Darla did to Holtz's family is reminiscent of that of what they did with Drusilla's family. Like you could say maybe what they did to Drusilla's family was worse, as they ate and murdered them all in front of her before turning her, and it caused irreparable damage. But here, Holtz comes home to find his family murdered, except for his youngest daughter, who has been turned into a vampire, which he's forced to stake. He vows vengeance, and he meets a demon named Sajan, who tells him he will give the vengeance. And he freezes him in time until it's time to bring him forth. And he becomes the main villain of the season when he's released by Sajan. And there's this second prophecy that they just sort of forget about the Shanshu prophecy for a while, and just start talking about this new one where something is coming and they need to stop it. And then Darla shows up pregnant, and then they believe Holtz is this thing they're supposed to stop. And then there's more writing when Wes gets into looking at the thing, saying that the father will kill the son. This is after the child is born. But this really leads Wes down the bad road. I do want to say there was an episode that where Lila from Wolfram and Hart goes down to the files and whatever it's called. And the lady at the desk, I swear to God, is Flo from the Progressive commercials. I was like, wait, what is it? Is that Flo from the from the Progressive commercials? It is, yeah. And it's just like, whoa. Yeah, she's, Just a small little thing. I need the book open here. That vision thing. Okay, so yeah, okay, so we got to talk about this because it's like a two-part thing, and that vision thing, Cordelia's vision started to get more violent, and it turns out that Lila has hired Kumar. Yes, I'm serious. It's the guy who plays Kumar and Harold and Kumar to amp up her visions in a ploy to blackmail Angel into freeing someone from a hell dimension. Or hell, whatever. And it turns out to be a man named Billy. And we come back to that in the episode aptly named Billy. Well, where it turns out that this guy, Billy Blim, the nephew of the governor, senator, whatever, if he touches a man, it causes them to freak out on women. Not going to talk much about the episode because of the implications, but there is one part I do want to talk about where it has to do with Fred. At this point, it's well established there's a love triangle going on between Fred, Gunn, and Wesley. And Wesley goes full Jack Nicholson on her in the hotel, just going around with an axe, chopping things, wanting to get at her. When Gunn comes in and he asked what's going on with Wesley, why is he acting like that? And she said, it's Billy's blood. He started acting weird when he touched the bloody handprint downstairs. And then he's like, oh, you mean the bloody handprint I just touched before I came up here? Showing that he's starting to turn, but he has a little more self-control, and he says, knock me out! Eventually she does, when he gets a little more forceful with her. And then Wes comes in, and she knocks him the fuck out after Lila kills Billy, because there's a standoff where Cordelia's going to kill Billy, and Angel shows up and said, no, I'm going to do it before he can. Lila shows up with a gun. Sorry, screen flashback. And kills him. This doesn't really seem to affect things going forward that much, but I'm just saying. Yeah, so in the episode, that vision thing, Cordelia is made half demon so that she can contain the powers of the visions. And that comes back to haunt her later. She meets Skip, and he's important later. He's a demon. We get to... So, after the baby is born, Holtz is out there. He wants to kill Darla and Angel. But once he sees that they have a child, he decides against it and gets a new plan, which kind of turns Wolfram and Hart away because they just wanted to kill the kid. And Wolfram and Hart in this season, once Holtz becomes the big bad, it's like that fly that won't leave you alone. Like you're trying to do something, and Wolfram and Hart, can go away. Okay, let's do this. Wolfram and Hart, just go away. They just it's like they have Holtz as the main villain, and they got Wolfram and Hart's still a thing. Get out of my. It's like, it's like. And especially in the last episode, we'll get to that, but it's just, that's what it's like with Wolfram and Hart in this season, is that they decide to have a different big bad, but we still have to remind you that the Wolfram and Hart is out there. Like, oh, Holtz is doing this and Holtz is doing that, Wolfram and Hart. Because they were working together to try to capture both of them, and then it goes south, they're not working together anymore, and the focus becomes more on Holtz than it is Wolfram and Hart. I will say that the new leader in this season and the next is a lot better than the one we had in the latter half of season 2. That guy, Nathan Reed, he just sort of disappears, and he's replaced by this guy, whose name I don't remember, but it's a better actor, and he's better at his job, although he does get kidnapped a lot. I mean, he's not the best, but he's better than... He's no Holland Matters, but he's better than the guy in the Nathan. And we get like a full replacement for Lindsay here, and that's Gavin Park, played by Jin from Lost. I don't remember his name, but yeah. I almost said Chin-Ho Kelly, but that's his Hawaii 5-0 name. There's an episode called Waiting in the Wings. Like, it's hinted to us that Angel and Cordy have feelings for each other, but this episode just, boom, all out, shows you there's something going on with them. Especially there is this is one of my more memorable episodes, though, and it's really a filler if you think about it, other than leading into the love angle, and that's where they go to see a performance of a ballet that Angel has seen before, and Angel realizes it's the same people he saw in 1790 or 1890, whatever. Yeah, in 1890, and it hasn't changed. So he and Cordy go on trying to figure out what's going on, and they get stuck in a spell, and they find a certain room that it's haunted to the point where they have to reenact stuff that happened, and they get very close to going ee. And I kind of wonder what would have happened in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, something happens in season 4 that makes you question, and I will talk about that when we get to season 4, because to me it doesn't make any sense, but would he have turned into Angelus had they gone coital? Who knows? I don't know. And then, briefly, Wesley's taken over by the evil spirit just after he sees Fred and Gunn kiss. And just for you guys that don't know, Fred is actually short for Winifred. So it's not saying it's a 3-dude love triangle. Fred is a woman. Her name is Winifred. They just call her Fred. Okay? So don't be like, talking about 3 guys? No, I'm not. I'm not talking about 3 guys. I'm just saying. Yeah, there's, so, Lauren, at the beginning of the season, is trying to rebuild Caritas, and it keeps getting attacked. There's that old Gang of Mine, which is early in the season, right here, right after that old Vision thing, in which we find out that something doesn't make sense to me. Gunn's old gang is just going around killing random demons. Whether or not they're good or bad, doesn't matter. They go around killing demons, and they break into Caritas and hold the gang at arrow point, crossbow point, whatever. And, there's this new guy in the group. His name is Geo, and they're like, first Gun's like, oh, Geo's gone rogue. He hasn't gone rogue. The whole crew came up in there. And they're like, he's like, did he defend himself? And the thing is, Gunn was just going off on... Okay, so, when I mentioned this, they had when they introduced Lauren in season 1, they also introduced Merle. That's why they go to Caritas. And Merle is a demon. He's like a snitch or that, something like that. And I didn't mean if it has a rhyme. But he's murdered in this episode. And Gunn questions why they care so much. Because it's a demon. And for me, they had me scratching my head like, so you out of nowhere don't care about demons? What about Lorne? And he's your friend, right? But Merle, who's helped you guys before, may not be your friend, but he's not bad. And then he poses the same question to his gang later in the episode about why go after innocent demons. But he was just arguing that, if it's a demon, it deserves to be killed. But now he's on the other side. And I don't remember seeing anything change between then. And he gives out a line, Angel's not my friend. Yeah, he is. I'm sorry, but if he wasn't your friend, look, I'm no expert on friendship, but you're staying in his hotel. Non-friends don't let you stay with them, man. If he wasn't your friend, you wouldn't be staying in that hotel. You'd be on the streets again. Speaking of streets, there's an episode called Double or Nothing that flashes back 7 years in the past with Gunn. And I get how to make him look younger, they have him wearing a do-rag and they're playing Gangster's Paradise. I'm like, okay, that's how you make him look younger. You wear a do-rag. And, this takes place in the early 90s. Gangster Paradise. As I walk through I just laughing. I'm like, that's how you make him look younger. Because he got to be 7 years. He says he was 17. I'm like, could have just used a different actor if you're going to have a 17-year-old gun. You could have just had a different actor. I don't know. And that one's kind of a filler episode about love. How he owed his soul to some demon in Vegas or whatever. And he's basically given his soul to Fred because they're in love, something like that. And nothing. Then, okay, so the episode. Okay, so like I said, Wes is reading through this thing and he finds out that the text in the prophecy reads, "The father will kill his son. Will kill the son." And they also find out, this is showed to when Sajan goes to Wolfram Hart, that he wants some of Angel's son's, Connor is his name, Connor's blood. And they have it. They took it from the hospital, I guess, when he was born, which, I'm sorry, but they're showing that Wolfram Hart is way too overpowered to be not taking over the world by now. Their whole plan is to take over the world, right? With all the resources they have, why aren't they ruling everything? I'm sorry, but it's absolute bullshit that she got blood from the hospital and she has connections. So she has great connections. Wolfram Hart has connections that go as far as the devil himself, as we see in season 5. But I mean, come on. This is just, they are so overpowered. They have so much resources. How have they not taken out Angel Investigations? How have they not done it? I mean, come on. It baffles me. And with all these resources, did you background? Ow! But yeah, and he uses that, I guess he's been lacing Angel's pig's blood with his son's own blood, which is turning him more and more like a regular vampire again because he's acting out. You know, he's acting differently. There's even a thing where, Wes has a dream about how Angel's going to go after Connor, and then there's an incident where there's an earthquake, a fire, and blood, which is foretold in the prophecy, and then he's like, we almost got tracked in there. At least we would have had a snack. But Angel never reacts to those words. Like, he doesn't realize what he's saying, and that doesn't make any sense. You would realize what you're saying. I mean, he's just drinking laced blood. It's not like he's under a trance. It makes no sense that after that he would go, what did I just say? And figure out something is wrong. In fact, it makes no sense that Angel, a fucking vampire, doesn't smell the difference in the blood. Until after it's smashed against the wall, then he can tell it's Connor's blood. Plot convenience. Go figure. Because I remember when I first watched this, I'm like, they're like, oh, we need his son's blood. I'm like, what are they doing the blood for? And then when they said, when he splats it against the wall and he's like, it's his blood. It's his blood. I'm like, why didn't he figure it out sooner? You're a vampire. You should have smelt the difference when you went to drink it. And you'd be like, something's not right. But no, because of plot convenience. And this, of course, forces Wesley to not take him directly to Holt, which is what they assume he did. And truly, he never really gets to tell him what he was actually doing. They just assume, oh, he took him to Holtz. He was working with Holtz. No, he wasn't. He was never working with Holtz. He was trying to get information from Holtz. Holtz, in the meantime, has been recruiting a bunch of people who have lost their families to vampires, including one, Justine, who is sort of, well, basically she's the only one they really tell a story with, and they really make you know, that she's important. And it's Justine that he goes to talk to and says that he doesn't trust Holtz, and and then on the night he decides to take the baby away. And this, shows you how far Wes will go to protect the baby. This wasn't a betrayal. Far from it. You know, as much as they portrayed it as a betrayal on the show, it was not a betrayal. He was trying to protect Connor. He did not want to attack Lauren. But Lauren, as we know, can read your aura when you sing or whistle or anything, and the baby starts to cry, he starts to sing to the baby. Lauren feels the aura, and he has to attack and knock Lauren out. He takes off with the baby, he goes to his house, which, I'm sorry, but why would he go back to his house? Like, he goes to his house to get something, but what I would have done is I would have went to my house first and packed up my stuff, put it in my car, and then went over and grabbed Connor, then got the fuck out of town. That makes more sense. Again, plot convenience, because we need to be able to have him be attacked by Justine, have her slit his throat, and then she takes off in his vehicle, which she somehow got the keys for, even though he didn't leave them in the car. Because he clearly gets out, shuts up the car, and puts the keys in his pocket, and we never see her grab the keys out of his pocket, but I digress. My problem is the fact that he didn't need to go home. Because where did he come from? He came from home, then went to the hotel, then back home? How does that make any kind of sense at all? Other than plot convenience. Oh, we need a way for him to get attacked. Have him go back home. I mean, the writing on these shows aren't bad, but there are times when you just go, oh, they just did that for plot convenience. Because it makes no sense. Why would he come from home, not pack anything beforehand? If he's not planning on giving the baby to Holtz, he's planning on taking off, leaving, getting out of town, away from Angel, so that this prophecy doesn't happen, then why would you go from home to the hole to pick up the baby? You know. Now, I admit he wasn't planning on knocking out Lauren, but especially after you did that, you know now, more than ever, it's important to just get out. So, supplies or not, I'm sure he's got money in his old wallet there. You know. Especially since he gets mugged. He does. They find him laying there and they just take his wallet, which kind of makes me think about how he survived. His throat was slit. He was laying there for a while before he was taken to the hospital. And then just... I don't know, but to me it just makes no sense that he goes from home to the Angel Investigations office, the hotel, then back home to pack stuff, when he should have packed the stuff from home first, then got the baby, then got the fuck out of town. I'm just saying, Wesley's supposed to be the smart one, right? Right? I'm just saying. So, Justine steals the baby, and Wes is left for dead. And eventually, Angel tracks down Holtz, and Sajan is there, and there's this whole standoff that... Okay, so Wolfram and Hart, they show up, and they want the baby. Holtz has the baby, but the plan with Sajan was to kill the baby. Sajan wants the baby dead, and he rips open a hole in the fabric of reality to a dimension called Kortoth, and says he will make it bigger if they do not kill the baby, which Wolfram Hart starts to aim the guns at the baby, and then Holtz has the baby at this point. Holtz decides, fuck it, and runs into the hell dimension. And Sajan's like, well, this works. Closes it before. And this is really... So, Angel runs towards the portal and could have got in, but a random lightning bolt just strikes him so he doesn't, and then Sajan closes it. Sajan didn't do the lightning bolt, it just randomly shocks him. Plot convenience. I'm just saying. Oh, how do we stop Angel from going in? Lightning bolt. And we don't see where it comes from, so we're led to believe it just came out of the portal for no reason. You could have had Wolfman Hart start shooting at him. I'm just saying. Also, during this, the Grusalog shows up. Yeah, just as Angel is about to come to his feelings for Cordy, Grusalug shows up. And then he's not there with Cordy anymore. It's really weird. It's like, oh, we'll have the Grusalug come back, but all the stuff we have for him is at the end of the season, so we'll just have him show up, take Cordy away from the group. Which, I'm sorry, but she's the Vision Lady. And then what happens? Barely anything. Stuff with Holtz, sure, and Connor is taken. Other than that, it's a few cases where nothing really happens. A few boring cases. Let's see. Sleep Tight and Forgiving. Then Double or Nothing happens. And then The Price. So, hold on. When do they leave? They leave... Okay, so they leave in Couplet. And then we have Loyalty, Sleep Tight, Forgiving, and Double or Nothing. No. Okay, so just... Loyalty, Sleep Tight, Forgiving. Only 3 episodes? It seemed longer. They're gone for 3 episodes. Okay, sure. And then Cordelia's back in Double or Nothing. Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, and... Yeah. So nothing really happens. Angel is trying to figure out what happened to his son. He kidnaps the guy from Wolfman Hart. And they're a major villain for one episode here. And it's really a major point, I should say. And here's my question, though. They may have mentioned it, I don't know. Why didn't they talk to Willow? I mean, wait, this is take place season 3, they'll be in season 6. Ew. Okay. I get why. By this point, in Buffy, I don't, let's see, when it happened, when he starts, 17, hold on, folks, just 1 second, 1 second. And only 17, dancing love, dancing like me. Oh! This is the right one, right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna compare. I'm not gonna spoil anything for Buffy, but let's compare. So it's around episode 17, right? So 17 is normal again. Okay, so the major turning point in Buffy season 6 that would have allowed Willow not to be there happened at the end of episode 19 of that season. So that's The Price. And this is the slugs and stuff. So it's possible that by episode 17, maybe she was too enthralled with what's going on with the trio at the time. I don't know, but they could have asked Willow for a little help, or at least over the phone help. I don't know. Well, if you don't know, after season 5, Buffy moved to UPN. So maybe they were getting rid of their connections that way. Although I think Willow does show up like one more time during season 4, I think. So, not totally. And Faith shows up again in season 5. 4? What, one of them? 4, I think. But, yeah, it was just, why didn't they ask her? I don't know. And so we're getting towards the end here. There's an episode in which there's these weird little invisible creatures that need water to filler episodes at the end when a feral-looking teenager shows up, and it's revealed to be Connor. He says, "Hi, Dad," which is confusing because he also calls Holtz his father. But then he knows Angel is his father. I'm assuming Holtz told him some bullshit story about Angel to make him hate Angel. But that is your birth father not taking care of you, Steven. Yes, he calls him Steven. I don't know why. And we see Holtz. Oh, the Hell Dimension, time is different. They were in the Hell Dimension for years, where it was only been days since then. And we see Holtz with some terrible man makeup. I'm sorry. But it's terrible. He doesn't look like an old man. He looks like a demon. I'm sorry. It looks terrible. All the good makeup jobs they do on these shows, this and Buffy. Why did they make Holtz like some fat guy's ass cheeks? Oh, it's terrible. Every time I saw him, I'm like, no. And then he leaves a letter with Angel. And then has Justine stab him 2 times in the neck to make it look like a vampire bite and let him bleed out and die. So it looks like Angel killed him. The last episode is kind of filler, which confuses me. There's, Angel there's a lot of talking to Connor. He shows him the note. He takes him to a movie where Wolfram Hart shows up with a helicopter. It shows how really annoying they are. They just keep showing up for no reason. And I think this is about the same thing in season 4 because they have a different big bad in season 4 as well. But now they've been sort of building up this love thing between Cordelia and Angel throughout the season. And this is where I think the Grusalug's reintroduction to the show was kind of unnecessary, as it doesn't go anywhere. And this is kind of my problem with relationships on the show, is that if it's not they put people in random relationships that it's not the main relationship they want them to be in. Like, if they were going to have the main relationship be Angel and Cordy, why was he pining after Buffy for so long? Yes, I know that Buffy and Angel, that's the, love that, shall never be. And she moves on to Spike, spoiler alert, for Buffy. But then in season 5, when Spike and Angel both hear that Buffy's going to be somewhere, they're like, instant puppy dogs again. It's just like, Angel more than everyone should be over her. And I think it was just after a pivotal episode with Cordelia in that season. So it was like, wait, what? So soon? I don't know. But here, and just this relationship where, we're in love. And then, the Grusalug shows up. But wait, you just showed you had feelings for Angel, and now you're having Angel go get you this special stuff so you can fuck the Grusalug. Because if you don't know, there's a thing at the end of season 2 where she had to cum shuck or have sex with the Grusalug, and if she did, it would transfer her visions to the Grusalug. Now keep that in mind. She didn't want to lose her visions. Then she gets the thing. She gets the stuff that they use so that they can do it without spreading the visions. Then proceeds to take a vacation. So that her having the visions for these 3 episodes means nothing. What was the point of her saying, I don't lose my visions? And then Angel says, go on a vacation. Take a vacation. Take a couple weeks. So what was so important about her keeping the visions then if she's just gonna, then again, the Grusalug having the visions probably would have done more for his character, but he just, yes, we see that, she makes him look like Angel, where he's wearing Angel's clothes, and he gets a haircut, looks just like Angel's, and even he calls her out in the last episode here, it's clear you want to be with Angel, and then he leaves. And it's clear they used him for comedy. like things like Bird Play, purple. You have a you can pronounce purple, but you have a hard. You can say purple, but you have a hard time pronouncing pomegranate. To which he says, "It was my mother's name." It's clear he was supposed to be a comic relief, but yeah, I'm glad he was gone. It would have been nice to have him come back once in a while, but he was sort of like Oz was. Like, how was I going to put this? Not Oz. Who was it? It was sort of like a character that's been around for so long, but it's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, just around. He just was an extra guy there. And I see why they took him out for a few episodes. Like, oh, we can't have him there all the time. So they take Cordelia out, which is their only link to the powers that be. After an episode that dealt with getting some stuff so she doesn't lose the visions, we'll put her on vacation. Okay? And then we build this episode up where Angel and Cordelia, they're going to meet at the pier and they're going to fall in love. And then on the way there, Cordelia gets interrupted by Skip, who tells her, hey, it's time to become a higher power, and takes her away into the heavens. And then Connor attacks Angel and puts him in a pine box, shoves him in the bottom of the ocean. It's just like, okay, they're finally going to get together. Except for, even I knew that wasn't going to happen because this was the last season of Angel I bought. Having already seen seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5, I knew it wasn't going to end up this way. But looking back, that's what I don't like about relationships and shows. It's like, oh, them getting together, it's the end game of the show, so we can't have them get together at all until the end game. But then the actress says she's going to leave the show, so they never fucking get together to begin with. You get more of this complaint in season 4 because you think, oh, they'll come back, they'll get back together. But no, something's happened to Cordelia once she comes back to Earth, and that's the main plot of the season. It's you know, like, the will they won't they thing is only entertaining for a short amount of time. Once it gets too long, like Clark Kent and Lana Lang in Smallville. Will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? They're together at the end of season 2. No, Clark's got the red kryptonite. Fuck you, Lana! Comes back. Oh, I don't like you anymore, Clark. By the end of season 3, I still love you. I'm leaving. She leaves. She finds another boyfriend. Comes back. I'm with Jason, but I still love you, Clark. The end of the season, Jason's, spoiler alert for that because I'll get to those. Jason's a bad guy. Stuff happens. Beginning of season 5, we're together. I don't have any powers, so we can be together. I got my powers back. Now I can't have sex with her anymore. And, well, we'll get to that. I'm going to start getting into it, but it's very conflicting. They go back and back to the point that the actress leaves after 7 seasons, comes back for a short little spot in season 8. This is Smallville, by the way. And they get back together. It's like, the will they won't they thing only works if you go for a small, short amount of time. Now, I'm talking about Smallville that went 10 fucking seasons, but still, if you do the will they won't they thing so much, nobody's going to care about it. This is supposed to be the end relationship they get, but because the actress leaves before the story is done being told, and they have to say she's going to leave, they have to write a different ending for that character. And kind of an ending that kind of puts her to the side for the moment in case she wants to come back for something. And then the ending we get, it really is kind of disappointing anyway. But I'm just saying, the will they won't they thing has never been my favorite thing to do in shows. And that's why Friends is a great example. How many will it won't days with Ross and Rachel did they do that? Even though you had the studio audience, and yes, I do cry when Rachel says, I got off the plane. It's still like, I cried, but do I care? How many times did they go on and off about this? And she went off, and, Ross, we were on a break, which she was right about, by the way. It just, will they, won't they stuff only works if you do it for a short amount of time, and that isn't your end game. But when you constantly shove it through your show seasons, like will they, won't they, like the Angel and Buffy thing. If this whole series had been him pining after Buffy for the entire series, people would have gotten pissed. So after season 2, or after the beginning of this season, after she comes back to life, that kind of just goes away and he's pining after Cordelia, which they should have gotten together at the end of this season. And that's just ripped out from underneath us like a rug. And then now he's in a wooden box. She's a higher power. And they never, spoiler alert, never actually get together. I know that shows like this aren't supposed to be about relationships, but when you're touting this relationship as your main relationship, then you bring the Crucialog in. Oh, there's something that stops you, and then, we finally get together, but nope. Wooden box, higher power. That stops you, and then it just never comes back to it. It's upsetting. It really is. And I'm gone way too long with this. But the end of the season just kind of makes me go, because it's just like, they could have done so much more. And the cliffhangers for Angel are never really that, like the season finales and the season premieres aren't really that strong, to be honest. With the first episode of the series is a strong episode. And you got the finale of the first season, that's a great episode. But then beginning of season 2 is just a meh episode about, what was it about again? I forget. Just a meh episode about a pregnant woman. And then the finale was, what? The 4-part sequence they had, that was a good finale. Alright? But then what's the opening here? Oh, 2 vampires who are lovers and stuff. And you killed the girlfriend and other boyfriends after you. Riveting. And it ends with this, which is a pretty good ending. So, but this isn't my favorite. And how does it begin? Arguably a little bit better than most, which I'll have to rewatch, and then season 4's ending is kind of and then season 5's beginning is alright for like if you think of it like a second pilot of sorts, and then you get the series finale, which is another we'll get to that. But I'm just saying, overall, season 3 of Angel was a bit of an improvement after season 2, to be honest. Wes's fall, there's one thing I forgot to discuss. Angel goes to visit Wesley in the hospital and tries to suffocate him with a pillow for taking his son. Now, I'm kind of on both sides of this. As a father, I think I would be sort of like Angel, but I wouldn't let my emotions get the best of me in this situation. Because you've been told he did it to protect the child, thinking Angel was going to turn on him. Angel's argument was, I never hurt people I love. Fuck you! Ask Buffy if you ever hurt the people you loved. Duh! And Cordelia just lets it go. I would never hurt the people I loved. You've done it! You hurt Buffy, twice? You fired your team and slept with Darla and didn't tell them when you got back with their team. And by the way, I kept forgetting that Wes was supposed to be the leader of the team because it's called Angel's Investigation. The show is called Angel, but I kept forgetting that Wes was supposed to be the leader. What kind of writing is that? When they casually mention, don't you got to run this by Wes? And I'm like, what? Oh, that's right. He's the leader. Your audience forgets that, and it's not really that important. And I don't understand why they established that in season 2 during the second half when he tries to make amends that Wes is in charge. But then you constantly forget it till they randomly bring it up. Don't you have to run that by Wes first? Oh yeah, he is the leader, isn't he? There's even an episode where one says, wait, who's the leader again? Just like, eh. And Lauren also stays, I think I mentioned that, he's staying with them at the hotel because the Caritas was destroyed. But it just makes no sense that his only argument after saying that the prophecy said the angel will kill his son is, I don't hurt people I love. When he's repeatedly done that in the past. It's, who wrote that episode? Which episode was it? Episode 7? Is it Forgiving? I think it was. Jeffrey Bell. I don't know. It's just it was questionable when he's like, I don't hurt the people I love. There was a whole thing with a hand in a box, and you hurt Buffy, and then you fired your people to sleep with. Then you slept with Darla, and then there's another thing that confused me is when Darla shows up pregnant, they all blame Angel. Like, oh, you didn't tell us. How could you do this? How could you use her? Hello? She was using him. The whole reason she slept with him so that he would have that moment of happiness and turn into Angelus. And yet they're on her side. And like, oh, you've done enough. It's like, it's not his fault. Yeah, he knocked her up. But in his defense, vampires can't make babies. You know? But apparently you can in this universe, if it's foretold, I guess. Oh, and by the way, Sajan, the whole thing about Angel killing his son was a lie that Sajan put. He went through time and messed with the prophecy so that it said that because originally it was going to be the Angel's son who will grow up and kill Sajan. And Sajan says that he's like Angel's greatest enemy, but Angel has no idea who he is. And we never really get any clarification as to why he hates Angel so much. Like, at all. So there's things left hanging and things we don't know about. And I don't think we ever see Sajan again. I think he's killed in one of the episodes. But it's just not really important, I guess, in the end. And yeah, there are some problems, but it is better than season 2. I'll admit that. So, what are your thoughts on Angel season 3? I've been talking to. This was a long one. Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.